Hi, I'm Ann Weiser Cornell, and this is Support for Stressful Times. As soon as I say that, I feel like I did have a part of me that thought back in mid-March that maybe the stressful times would just be a few months. Now we know it isn't. And then I remember that even before the coronavirus hit, the times were still pretty stressful. And I had short-term worries and long-term worries, like about the climate change was my biggest stress, really. So we are here and the times are stressful, and there are a few things that can help. Being together can help. But I'm especially here to give you the message that connecting with your body felt sense can help. And so our bodies are wise. Our bodies tell us about so much more than just our diet and our health. What was discovered by my amazing mentor, Gene Genlin, who discovered focusing, I'm sure he wasn't the first to know this, but he was a key figure in understanding that our body sense is a source of meaning. It's a source of understanding and integration of what we're going through. And it's not body as opposed to mind, it's really a body-mind process that is this source of meaning. And we get to sense how we are in the body anytime. The body's always available. We can do it together right now. By slowing down a bit, pausing, letting awareness come to your body's sense of support, resting into that support. You might be sitting, standing, lying down, doesn't matter. No matter what, you have a sense of your body supported. Some people bring an awareness in the body, find pain, maybe even chronic pain. And yet your body is not your enemy. Your body isn't the one that's hurting you. Your body is a fellow sufferer. So our body is our friend. And by sensing in the inner area of your body, throat, chest, stomach, belly, you get a sense of how you are right now. How is this moment? And I was thinking about that this morning, as I was thinking about you. How I have a calendar on my computer, and sometimes I'm not sure where I am in it. I've looked ahead to see something or looked backward to see something. But there's a button that says today. And all I have to do is press that button and I'm back in today. And our bodies give us that. The body is a right now button. How am I now? Maybe half an hour ago, I felt anxious. How am I now? Maybe still anxious, but let's check. Well, maybe right now, not so anxious. Maybe there's a sense of lightness there where the anxious was there before. There's something very, very helpful in tuning in to how I am really right now. It reminds me of the usual answer to the question, how are you? Do you know the social answer? Fine. Although notice since the coronavirus came to us, that question, how are you, has a lot more vibe to it. How are you? I'm fine. Consider the alternative. Have you noticed that? But the other thing is that I know even as a little kid, I thought that was odd. I'm supposed to say fine no matter how I feel. Do people ever want to know the real answer? And yes, when we ask ourselves, how am I? We want to know the real answer. Actually, how am I? And I'd love to hear from you. I hope some people are writing in the chat how you are, what you're sensing. Yeah. Exhausted, utterly stressed, distracted, and in a sort of trance. All right. Frightened. Yeah. More hopeful. Yeah. Very good. Very good. Feeling rested, feeling slightly bored. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. And you know, you named how you felt. Now you take the word or words that you found and bring them back in and check again. And it's not that you doubt yourself, right? But let me check that word bored, for example, bored. And what often happens is that how you're actually feeling is that, whatever that word was, and more. There's more around the edges. There's an aura. There's a, this today's board has a little I give up in it, or this today's board has a little antsy restless in it. Or so one, right? So when you have an answer to how am I, the next thing to do is take it back in and sense, did that? What kind of, or what's there with that, or is that quite right? And what that teaches us is that our living process that we access through the body feeling, our living process is always more. It's always more than labels, categories. So when you say, how are you? And I say, fine, obviously that fine has so much more to it. And I feel like right now, when you ask me how I am and I say, fine, part of the more, like the subtext is, you know, I don't have COVID-19. And so I'm fine. But scared and worried about other people and worried about the world. That's here too. And what do we do next? After we've noticed how we feel, after we've gone inside and noticed that there's even more subtle colors to how we feel than just the sound of the words, what do we do next? Next, we acknowledge. I'm saying hello to that. So, yeah, this feeling of, this is really odd. I thought it would be in some new state by now. We moved on, things would have gotten better. Of course, I'm in the United States. I hope many of you are in a place where things are better. We're not here. So whatever it is, that's the content. Whatever the feeling is, whatever it's the more that's there, then we acknowledge it. We say, yes, I know you're there. I hear you. We're saying that to our own feeling. Because one of the things that happens is, if we identify with our feeling states, we can get overwhelmed. Have you been overwhelmed lately? Things are a lot. And so you might have gotten overwhelmed by feelings of anxiety or depression or anger or any other feeling. Yeah, yeah. Just taking a peek at the chat. Susan writes, overwhelmed. Yes. Oh, glad you got here, Susan. Wonderful. So what I'd recommend right here is a little bit of linguistic magic. I love words, and words can be facilitative. They can help take us forward. And the linguistic magic is the phrase, something in me. If you've been with me before, you know how this works, but it never hurts to do it again. So let's take the feeling that you're feeling. So out of control, anger, trapped, just getting a few from the chat. Fear, anger, resignation, sad, yeah. And I'm seeing some enjoyable feelings too, light and bubbly. Yeah, alone. Mm-hmm. Alone isn't really a feeling, but you could feel lonely, right? Okay, so then you say, I feel, or I am stressed, let's say. And then you change the word I to something in me. So something in me is stressed, something in me is bored, something in me is anxious, something in me is sad. And notice what happens when you do that. And what most people notice is more space inside. That yes, the feeling is still here, but there's more of me here to give it curiosity and company. There's more space. Something in me feels that way, and there's room for other somethings feeling other ways. And our work is called inner relationship. And that means that there's an I who can say hi to the something. So I am sensing something in me, irritable and discouraged, Judy just wrote. Yeah, that's right. I say hello to something in me feeling irritable and discouraged. Now I'm pointing to my chest, but that doesn't mean that's where it is. It could be anywhere. It could even be a little bit outside you, because your body extends out farther than your skin. So I am sensing something in me feels that way, and I say hello to that. And what's happening is you're building the I that isn't overwhelmed, the I that isn't stressed. And that's something we call self in presence, self in presence. Do you feel that? The more we can do that, the more resilient we are. Resilient is such a nice word. I love that so much. I have to admit that when I hear the word resilient, did you ever see those big, like clown balloons with a weight at the bottom, where if you punch it, it falls over and then pops up again? We used to have those. Resilience means if they knock you over, you pop up again. You don't stay down. You don't stay down. And that reminds me of something I heard about Woody Guthrie, great American folk poet. Woody Guthrie had a blessing he used to give to people. He would say, and don't ever let anything get you plumb down. That's an odd American expression we don't use much anymore, but it just means don't let anything get you all the way down, or down so you don't get up again. Yeah. So resilience means we can come back. We can come back. And we are, in fact, maybe some of us discovering that we're more resilient than we even thought, because we can come back. Yay. That's right. That's right. Beverly writes, I've always thought of using something in me as bringing the possibility of the I, not having to be totally identified. That's right. And by the way, a little more linguistic magic. There's 3 more words that you can put at the start of the sentence. And those are the words, I am sensing. So let's take lost and numb. Doug wrote, something in me is feeling lost and numb. So Doug, what if you also say, I am sensing something in me is feeling lost and numb. See what that adds? We bring in we consciously bring in the I am sensing. You can also say I'm noticing or I'm aware of, but I really love I am sensing, because that's really what we're doing. We're sensing. See what happens to your sentence now? I am sensing something in me feeling. And there was Jane writes, love the word resilience. When I hear it, I get a lift in my spirits. Yay. Yeah, it's such a wonderful word. Priscilla writes, the current situation creates so many knocks, it's getting hard to bounce back, as if the clown balloon is losing air. That's a great way of using that metaphor, Priscilla. And I've got a tip right there. It's hard to bounce back. It's hard to use these helpful tools. It's hard to do the other things that are helpful right now. Like, what usually helps you is to take a walk or talk to a friend, and those aren't helping as much, or they're harder to do. If what usually helps is go to a movie, you're out of luck in a movie theater. Noticing that it's hard is actually a step back into resilience. So I'm really sensing how hard it is to bounce back these days. And I'm acknowledging that. And when you do that, it's a step back. I so love that. So love that. I did get a question. Why do I say something in me instead of a part of me? Do you feel the difference? Something in me feels lost and numb. A part of me feels lost and numb. Now, if that feels true, that it's a part of you, then of course feel free to say it. But there's something about part of me that sort of divides us up a little more than might feel true. Whereas the beautiful phrase, something in me, has a lot of openness to it. I'm not making assumptions. I'm not talking about it having a place or being an entity. Frankly, the word something is my favorite word. And I've studied words for a long time. And I have a list of the words that are most facilitative. And this is true in any language. And when I used to travel around the world, like last year, I would collect words in every language that were my favorites. And the word something, in Netherlands, it's the word iets. German, Deutsch, it's etwas. And Spanish, Espanol, algo, or is that Italian? Sorry, I'm not quite sure. Anyway, something. I am sensing something in me, or there's something about this that really bothers me. And the word something has that combination of vagueness and specificity. It allows us to be present without having to pinpoint something that's not ready to be defined yet. So, Golasim writes, I'm sensing something in me overthinking and worried. Yes. Often something in us reacts to stressful times with this overactivity, often with an anxious tone. Gotta figure out. And it's very freeing to be able to acknowledge that. I'm sensing something in me having these anxious, worried thoughts. Very freeing. You're not going to stop thinking. You can think better when you say, I am sensing, to your feelings. You'll think better because you get bigger. Somebody wrote, how about when I'm not sure what I sense and I cannot put it into words? That's terrific. That, I told you that you always are feeling more than the words that you've used. And when you can't find any words, you've just gone directly to that place where there's more than the words. It's a place of richness. And what's really interesting is we need our word something right here. So here's a little linguistic magic. Take the phrase, I can't feel anything, or I don't know what I feel. Well, actually, it's I don't know what I feel. Take the phrase, I don't know what I feel, and change it into, I feel something. Right? If you don't know what you feel, you do feel something. And if you say, I feel something, that brings your awareness to the place where you do feel something. And slowly you may begin to describe it. Or you may at first know what it isn't. I feel something. It's not tightness. It's not heaviness. It's, like that. There you go. So I am sensing. Don't say something in me is sensing. I want to give you this language in the most helpful way. So start your sentence with I. I am sensing something in me is struggling. Like that. Very good. Very nice. Yeah. Wonderful. Wonderful. Algo is Spanish. Thank you so much for those who told me that I got it right. Then I suddenly doubted if I had it right. Ah, and then we have it in Persian. Thank you, Gulnasim. And of course, Français, quelque chose. And in Japanese, it's nanika. Yeah, wonderful. Something in me is afraid to let control go. That's an interesting discovery, Fanny. And Patty writes, something in me is feeling impatient with my impatience. Ah, so you've got two somethings. Something impatient and something impatient with impatience. And I can say hello to both. We often have two somethings. We often have feelings about our feelings, don't we? Yeah? It's typical. I have this anxiety and I wish it would go away. So I'm sensing something anxious and I'm sensing something wishing it would go away. And I am here with both. Because the ideal environment, the ideal inner environment is one of acceptance. Acceptance allows feelings to evolve. And, feelings, emotions, emotion, they're meant to be in motion. They're meant to evolve, change, progress. When we feel like we have the same feelings over and over again, maybe they haven't been allowed to be as they are. Maybe they haven't received the presence. Sarah writes, I'm finding myself on screens and not able to get off. How would I apply this? Well, what's the feeling? Sarah, what's the feeling? I am sensing something in me sick of screens. All right, is that it? Yeah. Greg wonders about, I'm sensing something in me that doesn't know what it feels. No, you don't know how something feels. I'm sensing something. Yeah. Screen addiction, Sarah. You mean something that can't get off, has a hard time stopping. Yeah. I'm sensing something in me that has a hard time getting off. And I say hello to that. Yeah. Uh-huh. Very nice. Very nice. Yeah. Oh, good. Arno helped Sarah. That's nice. Just a sort of a little community arises on these webinars. I just love it. By the way, there's now 100 of you on this webinar. That number has been slowly rising as we've gone along. And it's very sweet. So we're near the end. We've got about 3 more minutes, and I really want to leave you by reviewing the message that I had for you today. And that is that feeling present in your body. It's like the today button on your calendar. It's like the way of coming into the now. And the now is extremely important. Now is where change is possible. We don't change the past except in certain ways of re-understanding it. We don't change the future except by taking action now. Now is where change is possible. And your feelings can already feel lighter. And you can increase your resilience right now by honestly, truly noticing how you feel, even if it's really awful. Like, let the feelings be here, however awful they are, and say, I am sensing something in me that feels da 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 da, and I am here with that. And feel the you that is bigger. You don't have to first feel bigger. The language itself takes you there. Someone was just asking, what's my definition of facilitative language? It's language that takes you to an easier, calmer, takes you to a place where you'd like to be. Yeah. Thank you so much, everybody, for being here. Thank you for your kindness to each other in the chat. Yeah, very nice. Very nice. See you next week. We do it every week. Have a resilient day. Take care. Bye for now.